Assalamu alaikum. Today we will learn about the first shifting property of Laplace transform. Let's dive into this topic. Suppose f of t is any kind of function which is where the variable is t, means this is a function of variable t. And if we want to do the Laplace transform of this function, then the Laplace transform of this f of t function will be a function of f of s. From the definition formula of Laplace transform, we see that the main formula is in the variable s, so we'll got any answer which is a variable of s. This is our basic Laplace transform. And suppose this function is multiplied with this exponential function. It can be any function, but it must be an exponential function. So our function is, if our function is multiplied with this exponential function, then we will use the first shifting property. And what does this first shifting property says? It says that the answer of this will be same as our previous function, but here is a small difference. What is the difference? Here just we will use s minus a instead of s. What is this a? This a is the constant term which is multiplied with the exponential function. So just we will replace this a with the s minus a. Let's see an example to understand it more clearly. Suppose our basic function is sin t. This is a function of variable t, and from our previous video we saw that if we do the Laplace transform of sin t, we get the answer as 1 divided by s square plus 1. This is a function of variable s. So according to our first shifting property, suppose here given our another function is e to the power minus t sin t. Here we can see that this is a function of t. Suppose this is our ft function and this is an exponential function. Suppose it is this function which is used in the main formula. And we see that here our main function is multiplied with this exponential function. So here we will use this our first shifting property formula to find its result easily. We can also do the Laplace transform manually of this function, but if we want to find the result using this first shifting property, then how it will be, let's see. This is the answer of this sin t function, and according to this formula we see that the answer of this function will be same, just difference is we will use s minus a instead of s. Here a means constant term which is multiplied with the t. Here we use e to the power at, and here is e to the power minus t, means e to the power minus 1 into t. So the constant term is minus 1 for this function. So here a will be minus 1. Now we will write just s minus 1 instead of s, and all over things will be same. Just s minus 1 whole square. This square will be same as before, and if we remove this first bracket we will get 1 divided by s plus 1 whole square plus 1. So this is the answer of this function using the first shifting property. If we do this manually using the main formula of Laplace transform, we will also get this same answer. মানে যখন আমরা দেখব যে একটা আমাদের রিকোয়ার্ড ফাংশনের সাথে একটা এক্সপোনেনশিয়াল ফাংশন সেম ভ্যারিয়েবলের হইতে হবে, গুণ আকারে থাকবে, তখন আমরা সেখানে ফার্স্ট শিফটিং প্রপার্টিটা ইউজ করে ইজিলি অ্যান্সারটা বের করে ফেলতে পারবো। তো আমরা কখন ফার্স্ট শিফটিং প্রপার্টিটা ইউজ করব? when we use this first shifting property when our function is multiplied with an exponential function. Then we will use the first shifting property. Let's see another example of this first shifting property. Suppose this is another function. Here cos t is our f of t function, and this is an exponential function which is multiplied with our main function. So as here is our main function is multiplied with this exponential function, so here we will use this first shifting property to find its result very easily. Let's break this math step by step to understand. At first we will break this exponential function. If we break this exponential function, what will we get? We will get e to the power 5t divided by e to the power 4. We know that if we divide, we have same function but different power, then we will write this function as using this subtract sign. So if we break this, then we'll get e to the power 5t divided by e to the power 4. But this e to the power 4 is a constant term because here no variable is used, but here this t variable is used, so it will be under the Laplace transform. But as this is a constant term, so it will be out from our Laplace transform. So we will take the e to the 1 divided by e to the power 4 as constant, and we will do the Laplace transform of e to the power 5t into cos t. And the Laplace transform of this cos t, from our previous video, we know that the Laplace transform of cos t is s divided by s square plus 1. So if now we will use the first shifting property to find the e to the power 5t into cos t, and the Laplace transform of this will be just we will replace the s instead of s minus a. Here a is 5, so we will replace s minus 5 instead of s, and this constant term will remain same, and the Laplace transform of this will be s minus constant 5, and here is minus 5 whole square plus 1. We write the same thing, we just replace the s instead of s minus 5. সো আমরা এই ফার্স্ট শিফটিং প্রপার্টিটা ইউজ করে অনেক সহজে একটা এক্সপোনেনশিয়াল ফাংশন আর একটা নর্মাল ফাংশন গুণ আকারে থাকলে কীভাবে তার ল্যাপ্লাস ট্রান্সফর্ম বের করতে হয় সেটা বুঝে গেলাম। এখানে শুধু আমরা এস এর পরিবর্তে এস মাইনাস কনস্ট্যান্টটা বসিয়ে দিব, বাদ বাকিটা সেম থাকবে। যেমন এখানে স্কোয়ার ছিল, এখানে আমরা হোল স্কোয়ার সেমই রাখছি, আর এখানে +1 ছিল, এখানে +1ও সেমই আছে, জাস্ট আমরা এসটাকে এস মাইনাস 5 দিয়ে রিপ্লেস করেছি। সো দিস ইজ আওয়ার রিকোয়ার্ড ল্যাপ্লাস ট্রান্সফর্ম অফ দিস ফাংশন। Using this first shifting property, we can find any exponential function's Laplace transform very easily. Let's say another question of this. So here the question is, we have to find out the Laplace transform of this function. This is our f of t function. The function says that here is cos a 2t and cos t. But here we can't see any exponential function. But if we think that this is our hyperbolic function of cos t, and we can break this hyperbolic function into exponential function. We know that cos is x equals to e to the power x plus e to the power minus x divided by 2. So we can write this instead of cos x, but here we have 2t instead of x, so we will write the e to the power 2t plus e to the power minus 2t divided by 2 cos h 2t equals to this. So we will write this exponential term instead of this term, which is multiplied with our cos t function. And let's do the Laplace transform using first shifting property. So if we write this exponential term instead of this term, it will be look like this. And here this 1 divided by 2 is a constant term, so we'll took it out from our Laplace transform and we'll write here, and our remaining term will be e to the power 2t plus e to the power minus 2t into cos t. And if we remove this first bracket, then our total function will be e to the power 2t cos t plus e to the power minus 2t into cos t. So here we can see here is two functions of variable t, and both are multiplied with an exponential function. So now we can use our first shifting property for the both section. Let's use the first shifting property. So for this first term, at first we have to remember the Laplace transform of cos t. What is the Laplace transform of cos t function? This is s divided by s square plus 1, which we have already saw in the previous video. So using this, we will write the answer of this term using the first shifting property. Here, what is the constant term? Here our constant term a will be 2, and for this our constant term a will be minus 2. So we will just change this s, and we'll write instead of this s, we'll write s minus 2 for this, and s minus minus means s plus 2 for this function. Let's write at first for this function, we will write s minus 2 instead of s, and here s minus 2 whole square plus 1. So this is the Laplace transform of this function, and the Laplace transform of this function will be s minus minus 2 means s plus 2 divided by s plus 2 whole square plus 1. This is the Laplace transform of this function. So using the first shifting property, we can also find the Laplace transform of this complex function very easily. If we want to further calculate, this will be simple algebraic form. আমরা এখানে ফার্স্ট শিফটিং প্রপার্টিটা ইউজ করে যে কোনো এক্সপোনেনশিয়াল ফাংশনের সলিউশন অনেক ইজিলি বের করতে পারি। এবং এরকম যদি একটা সাইন টিয়ার ফাংশন আর একটা সাইন টিয়ার ফাংশন, উই নো দ্যাট if we also break the hyperbolic function of sin ht, this will be e to the power x minus e to the power minus x divided by 2i. So if we have the hyperbolic function of sine, then we will also break the sine into exponential function, and then we will use the first shifting property for finding the solution. If you have any question, then please ask me in the comment section. Thank you.